Prominent attorney Alec Murdaugh has now been sentenced to life in prison. The judge handing that down this morning. The jury found Murdaugh guilty on all charges for the murder of his wife Maggie and youngest son Paul.
WCNC Charlotte's Jay Gray's been following this all morning and joins us now live from Walterboro. Hey Jay, the judge not mincing any words for Murdaugh when handing out his sentence just about an hour or two ago.
No, Ben, Sarah, it was fascinating, the exchange between the two. It was a brief sentencing hearing, and we saw for the first time Alec Murdaugh in shackles in a jail jumpsuit as he walked into the courtroom. The prosecution began echoing their request for a life in prison sentence on both murder counts. And then as the defense got their turn, it was Murdaugh who did most of the speaking, addressing the court. And then the judge directly, again, professing his innocence, saying that he would never do anything to hurt his wife Maggie or his son Paul. The judge answering him, saying that I don't believe that, and apparently the jurors did not believe that either. He talked about the family's long prominent history in the area, saying that they controlled justice here for decades, even mentioning he had to remove a picture of Murdaugh's great-grandfather that was hanging in the back of the courthouse before this trial. He asked him specific questions about his testimony, including when he said from the witness stand, what a tangled web we weave. The judge asked Murdaugh directly, what did you mean by that? He said, once I started lying, I continued to lie. And the judge told him, you will no doubt see your wife and son in your dreams for the rest of your life. Murdaugh responding, mumbling all day and every night. So it was a back and forth before he was eventually sentenced to that life in prison on both of the murder counts. His run with the justice system, Ben and Sarah, not over. He still faces more than 90 cases of fraud and embezzlement, stealing millions of dollars, which he admitted on the stand from his close friends, clients, and family.
Jay, I know there was some talk, people wondering if Maggie's sister would get up there and talk today, or Buster during the victim impact statements.
Yeah.
Were people surprised that no one got up to speak today?
Yeah, I think they really were. They were surprised that no one got up to speak, but they were also surprised that we heard from Alec Murdaugh. We asked about the victims' impact statements and what the prosecution said, and they had a victim's advocate throughout the trial. They said that they all discussed it together and with the potential family members who may have spoken, and all of them declined that opportunity to speak before the sentencing.
And Jay, do we know what happens next? At this point, I assume he goes off to some sort of maximum security prison, something like that. Buster, his son, tries to go on with his life. What's next for what's left of this family?
Yeah, he does go to prison now, and he'll be back and forth, though, because some of those trials in the fraud and the extortion and embezzlement cases will be right here and will be presided over by the same judge. So we'll see him back in the courtroom often, according to the judge this morning, and his son has made no public statements about what he intends to do next. Obviously, he's lost his brother, his mom, and now, in all effects, his father to life in prison.
And behind you, Jay, we are expecting the defense to get up and speak. Any word on what they might say?
Yeah, I think what you'll hear from them, Sarah, is that they do plan to appeal this case. Even the judge said that he expected an appeal here. I think they'll share their disappointment. I don't think we'll hear from them very long, but they have said that they want to come out and kind of clear the air after this trial and after the sentencing. So we do expect to hear from them. And perhaps what's next in their legal strategy. This was a 6-week case. No one expected it to go that long. No one expected Alec Murdaugh to take the stand. Those things happened and really changed the dynamics of this entire case. And what this defense team did in their closing arguments was directly criticize the investigators, saying that they did a poor job and that they actually contrived some evidence during the investigation. So that's something that they'll be asked about certainly during their comments here on the courthouse steps, which we expected earlier and should come at any time.
You know what? Rarely is reality as dramatic and dynamic as art, but this is this one case in particular where it was just that. And of course, heartbreaking for a lot of families there in the Low Country. Jay Gray reporting live for us there in Walterboro. Jay, thank you, sir. We appreciate it as always.
Yeah.